You are flying at 600 miles per hour. Your engine is on fire. You have 2 seconds to live.
You can't just open the canopy and jump. At that speed, the air is solid. It hits you like concrete.
It pins you to the seat. If you somehow climb out, the tail of the jet cuts you in half. To escape the jet age, you can't jump. You have to be blasted out of a cannon, strapped to a rocket. But how do you survive an explosive blast that should snap your spine in half? Subscribe to Method and Myth as we deconstruct the physics of survival. During World War II, escaping a dying aircraft was a terrifying manual process. If your Spitfire or Mustang caught fire, you unbuckled your harness, slid the glass canopy back, stood up, and physically threw yourself into the wind. It was dangerous, but at 250 miles per hour, it was survivable. But the invention of the jet engine changed the math of survival entirely. Jets flew at 500, 600, even 700 miles per hour.
At those speeds, aerodynamic forces act like a physical brick wall. The human body is simply not strong enough to push against a 600-mile-per-hour wind stream. Pilots were burning alive in their cockpits because they were pinned to their seats by invisible pressure.
The solution was born from tragedy. In 1934, James Martin and Captain Valentine Baker founded the Martin Baker Aircraft Company. Baker was the test pilot. Martin was the engineering genius. They were best friends.
In 1942, during a test flight of the MB-3 prototype, the engine seized. Captain Baker had no altitude to recover. He tried to crash land, but he was trapped in the cockpit. The plane hit the ground. Baker was killed instantly. The death of his best friend broke James Martin, but it also forged a lifelong, obsessive mission. He completely abandoned aircraft design. From that day forward, the Martin Baker Company would do only one thing: build machines to get men out of dying airplanes.
The engineering challenge was a nightmare. You have a fragile human body sitting in a metal box. You need to get that body up and over the massive tail fin of the aircraft in a fraction of a second. The only way to generate that much force instantly is explosives.
Early tests used modified artillery shells placed under the seat, but this created a brutal physics problem involving G-force. Acceleration is violence. If you detonate a massive explosive charge, the seat shoots up so fast that the pilot's spine compresses and shatters under the sudden extreme G-load. The human body can handle extreme force, but only if it's applied smoothly. James Martin solved this by using a multi-stage explosive cartridge. The first charge fired to start the seat moving gently. Microseconds later, a secondary charge fired to sustain the acceleration. It was a push, not a punch.
By the 1950s, explosives weren't enough. Jets were flying faster and higher. To clear the aircraft safely, engineers added actual solid-state rockets to the bottom of the seat. The modern ejection seat was born. But getting the pilot out is only step one. When a pilot pulls the yellow and black handle between their legs, they surrender total control to a mechanical brain. The sequence takes exactly 2.5 seconds.
At 0.1 seconds, explosive bolts detonate, blowing the glass canopy completely off the jet. Simultaneously, mechanical restraints snap backward, forcibly pulling the pilot's arms and legs tightly against the seat. If a limb is flailing in the 600-mile-per-hour wind, it will be ripped off instantly. At 0.3 seconds, the primary cartridge fires, pushing the seat up the guide rails. The pilot experiences 14 to 20 times the force of gravity. Their body weight momentarily increases to nearly 4,000 pounds. Vision blurs. The lungs collapse. At 0.5 seconds, the rocket motor ignites, blasting the seat clear of the tail. At 1.5 seconds, a small drogue parachute fires to stabilize the tumbling chair. Finally, at 2.5 seconds, the seat recognizes its altitude, unbuckles the pilot, kicks the heavy metal chair away, and deploys the main parachute. This automated sequence was brilliant, but it had a flaw. Early seats required the plane to be moving fast and high in the air for the parachutes to work. If a pilot ejected while sitting still on the runway, they would shoot up and hit the concrete before the chute opened. The ultimate engineering challenge was zero-zero capability, zero altitude, zero airspeed. Engineers had to build rockets powerful enough to blast a stationary pilot high enough into the sky to allow the parachute to deploy safely before they hit the ground.
Today, the company born from the tragedy of Valentine Baker still dominates the sky. Martin Baker ejection seats have saved over 7,600 lives. Every time a pilot uses one, they are inducted into the Ejection Tie Club, receiving a unique tie they are allowed to wear for the rest of their saved lives.
From the explosive escape of the cockpit, humanity turned its attention to creating the ultimate explosion. Next time on Method and Myth, we deconstruct the physics of the apocalypse and the machine that ended the world, the atomic bomb.